The following program is an SUTV student production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives. And welcome to SUTV Sports Talk. I'm Amanda Newman.
I'm Travis Nardella.
I'm Will Ovington.
And I'm Amir Carter.
And we begin tonight's show with SU's sports. The women's soccer team beat Mary Washington 1-0 to improve their conference record to 1-1 and an overall record of 5-4-1. Today, they hope to improve their conference record to 2-1 in their game against Penn State Harrisburg. In volleyball, the Lady Seagulls lost their first conference game to Christopher Newport after a 3-1 loss on Friday evening. The Gulls currently have a 17-2 record. They hope to improve their record tonight in their game against St. Mary's College. Their next home game will be Friday night at 7 p.m., where they will be playing Mary Washington, hoping to improve their conference record to 1-1. They will then be hosting the Seagull Classic on Saturday, playing Bridgewater at 10 a.m. and Juanita at 2 p.m. Come out and support the volleyball team.
In men's soccer, on Saturday they defeated Penn State Harrisburg by a score of 3-0 with goals from Stephen Poorman, Chris Kittleberg, and Matt Green. They play 3 away games at Mary Washington, Southern Virginia, and Marymount, Virginia before returning home to play York College of Pennsylvania on October 19th. They are ranked 20th in the latest Division III polls.
Salisbury football racked up another road win, beating Utica 34-0 on Saturday. The Seagulls ran all over the Pioneers, rushing for 364 yards, while the defense held Utica to a mere 250 total yards in a shutout. The Seagulls take on Buffalo State at 1 o'clock on Saturday. It's homecoming, so be sure to come out and support the team.
The number 7 ranked field hockey team earned a 3-0 win against Rowan University Wednesday night at Seagull Stadium, with 2 goals from sophomore Courtney Jensen and an effective defense throughout the game that was led by sophomore Amanda Cooper. Good job, ladies, to get the win on that day. On Wednesday, October 9th, they will play York College at home, 6 p.m.
And in other news, how many of you guys watched the college football games this weekend? Did you watch any of the games?
Some of them. It was interesting.
I was one of the unfortunate Terrapin fans to watch the blowout against FSU this weekend, 63-0.
63-0.
I watched some of that game. I think when I turned it off, it was like 21-0. That's crazy.
Well, I know you felt bad because they were undefeated before that.
Yeah.
You play your first ranked team, you're thinking this is our chance to prove ourselves. And by the look at the score, it doesn't seem like Maryland's ready.
There was a lot of storylines going into this game, like Maryland's 4-0, FSU's 4-0. Maryland's first conference games, their first nationally televised games, their first ranked game as a ranked team and against a ranked opponent. And to come out and lose in this fashion, 63-0, giving up, I think, 5 touchdowns to Jameis Winston, is just unbelievable.
The Florida State quarterback, Jameis Winston, is really good. He's only a freshman, but he's good. He's going to be good.
I mean, I think this probably boosted Winston up into my top Heisman candidates.
I think so too. I think it'd be crazy though if another freshman won Heisman this year, just like Johnny Manziel last year. So that's cool to know that freshmen are getting recognition like that.
But at least if Maryland loses, they always look good. They always look good.
That is true. What were they wearing on Saturday? The white ops. Yeah, those are nice.
I love all their jerseys. I think they always look cool.
Yeah, I like the state pride ones that they wore.
With the flag helmets. Those are my favorite.
Now, my favorite team right now, I'm going to say I'm a bandwagon, but it's Georgia right now. Georgia beat UT 34-31 in overtime. And they're looking like, after that one loss in week 1, which we really don't look at. Sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. But they've been undefeated ever since. So I think they're going to go on to prove themselves. And I'm calling it right now, Georgia, Alabama for the SEC championship.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Definitely.
Tennessee almost pulled off the upset. They would have had the touchdown in overtime but the running back fumbled it trying to reach the ball over the plane, and then
What a
Georgia kicked the field
heartbreaker.
goal.
It's a heartbreaking loss.
Assuming that Oregon stays undefeated, though, do you think that your prediction is Georgia, Alabama, SEC championship? Do you think winner of the SEC championship goes on to play Oregon in the national championship?
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, Oregon's got to be the best team in college football right now. After
Best offense in college football right now. Been the best offense for the past couple of years. But Oregon, they always have excellent offense. They ain't dropped 58, but their defense, I've never felt comfortable with their defense being there. Alabama has shown that. Oregon shows that you can win ball games with offense, but Alabama has shown that you win championships with defense.
Well, they held Tennessee to, I think, like 14 or 15 points, and Tennessee goes on to lay 31 on Georgia. So, I mean, and in the SEC game, those are always very exciting to watch. So, if Oregon's holding them to pretty low scoring, I think they can do the same with other SEC teams like Alabama.
But Alabama's physical. They're big, they're strong, and with fast guys, how Oregon is. You hit them one good time, and you're going to slow down or run faster. You never know. Out of fear.
But the problem with hitting Oregon players is got to catch up to the Oregon players to hit them.
I'm sure they'll catch you.
Yeah, D'Anthony Thomas is probably the fastest player in the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you hear about college adding 4 bowl games this year? I don't get the point of this. I mean, it'd
Yeah.
be cool if they play in Bahamas.
I read that
But-
yesterday.
But I don't understand if we're doing the playoff system this next upcoming season, which I'm very excited about because they should have put this in a long time ago.
Yeah.
Why add another bowl game? Is it just, for the product placement thing for them to just sell more money and get more money off these players, or do you think it's like a better thing to add the games?
More opportunities, I
Yeah,
feel
they're
like.
just trying to get more teams to play that postseason game. What were the 4? There's like the one in the Bahamas, which is probably just for,
The scenery
yeah.
and for fun.
There's one in Miami. There's going to be one in Detroit, and I don't know about the other one.
I think they're just like, because I think the new bowl games are for the 4 automatic bids for like the lower conferences in college football. So I think it's just to get those teams to know that they can be playing for something, since they know they probably aren't going to be playing for the national championship every year. It gives them something to strive for, so at least they can say they won something. And I mean, if you're gonna, all the bowl games get a nice piece of hardware and a ring. So if there's a better chance for me to get a ring on my finger, I'm more than happy to have those 4 new bowl games.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely just more opportunities for them, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the playoff system is a good idea too.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that next
This
year.
is something long overdue.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why like certain teams always get to go and some don't,
Yeah, speaking of the playoff system, they announced they kind of leaked some of the players that are going to, some of the people that are going to be on the panel to pick the 4 playoff teams, and Condoleezza Rice is going to be on the panel to
What?
pick the 4 playoff teams. What do you guys think about that?
She was like, I don't know.
I'm going to take the high road and say it's good to have a woman's perspective.
Exactly.
Well,
You
that's-
know what? Yeah, it's a male-dominated field. Condoleezza Rice is an excellent choice to be on the show.
Yeah, don't go like David Pollock on game day.
Now let's move to the NFL. And last night we saw the Jets and the Falcons play, and that was an interesting game. This is why I do not like Matt Ryan at all, because he gets a nickname for being clutch in the regular season, but clearly in the postseason doesn't do anything. I mean, Joe Flacco's accomplished more than him. And everybody talks, oh, Matt Ryan this and Matt Ryan that.
Yeah.
This game right here proves Geno Smith is taking over.
But I mean, Matty Ice, I'll say the name, Matty
my
Ice.
God. Call him that.
He went down with just a few minutes left and scored, and then it was up to the defense to stop the Jets with a little over a minute to play, and they just couldn't do it. I mean, Geno Smith is an exceptional quarterback, and he's shown that through these first 5 weeks. But I think it's more on the defense of the Falcons than just putting it on Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
I feel like Geno Smith redeemed himself this week after the 4 turnovers that he had last week.
He had no turnovers in this last game.
Exactly. So he definitely redeemed himself this week.
Geno Smith has the game-winning drive in all 3 of their wins. But I'm not. I mean, he's good, but I'm not really believing in the Jets just yet. 'Cause their 3 wins, The 3 wins are against the Bills, the Falcons, who have 1 win, and the Buccaneers, who are winless. So it's not like they're going up against Peyton Manning and taking down the Broncos.
Right.
Now, is Geno Smith getting used to the NFL? You think that's what just coming? He's getting used to. He's studying film. Remember, he didn't say he watched film a lot, so you think he's just being smarter, and we're just saying what he can be, or do you think that was just a one moment, and then next week he's going to be back to the old Geno?
I think we're seeing what Geno can be because the Falcons have always been like one of those like on the
Hit or
verge of
miss.
being a powerhouse.
Yeah.
They're in a division with the Saints, so the Saints are going to take the spotlight. But last year was their chance to pull through, and they did that, getting all the way to the NFC Championship. But the way they're playing right now, I think it's disappointing on some level for the Falcons. But I think Geno Smith is showing that he belongs in the NFL.
Yeah.
He is.
I think the Saints, with their 5-0 record, are just going to walk away easily with the NFC South. There's the Panthers, who are not that great, then the the Falcons, who are not good this year, and the Buccaneers, who are not good.
Yeah, the Buccaneers have a weird situation there. They need to just work on making their team better, just take the year off and just relax and focus on, the future, because that's what they really need to do. Then with the Saints, but they always start off hot. What's it been like the past 4 years? They always start off 4-0 or something.
4-5-0.
So is this saying, like, is Drew Brees just being himself, and then the same thing's going to happen when they lose in the playoffs? Or, like, are we seeing them running for the Super Bowl? Or
I think they can make a run for the Super Bowl, and I think it's not entirely on Drew Brees because you saw last year they struggled a little bit early on in the season when Sean Payton was dealt his suspension, and they were struggling a little bit early in the season. They kind of pulled through towards the end, and now they're 5-0 now that Payton's back. So I think they're definitely a big contender in the NFC, if not the Super Bowl.
I agree.
Yeah, we learned this week that the Seahawks are vulnerable, losing to the Colts, so it's not their conference to run away with anymore.
Yeah, Richard Sherman really disappointed me. After watching the game, it seemed like he was confused on certain coverages or didn't know who was supposed to get this and that, and he just looked frustrated too. He was getting mad that Andrew Luck was making so many great plays.
And it wasn't even just Andrew Luck. I mean, T.Y. Hilton was blown past him,
Yeah.
a second-year receiver, blown past a Pro Bowl caliber player like Richard Sherman. You'd think he'd know what to do.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was making Sherman look like a fool out there.
He was. Andrew Luck, I really like Andrew Luck a lot. He doesn't really his actions is what he uses. He doesn't really talk a lot of trash. He doesn't, go out to embarrass anybody. He just plays his way. And he's proving that out of the quarterbacks we looked at last year as being the top young guys, I think he's moving into that number one spot.
Right.
Because, I mean, Russell, he's efficient. But, I mean, Cam has fell off a little bit. He's having struggles. Kaepernick this year, they were the Hollywood team. I mean, everybody's thinking, 49ers Super Bowl. And then with RG3, he's getting there. He's rehabbing. So Andrew Luck is clearly, he knows it's his time to show out. He has to prove to people to get out of that Peyton Manning shadow. I think he's doing well.
I always forget that Andrew Luck is the quarterback for the Colts. Like, the first second, anytime I see, like, the Colts are playing someone, I always think Peyton Manning still plays for them. I mean, even though he's led the Broncos to a very good season this year already, being 5-0, I think it's still hard to think that Peyton Manning no longer plays for them.
Yeah, and I know they're very upset about that. I mean, Peyton Manning is doing excellent this year. And he even had a rushing touchdown. When do we ever see Peyton Manning run the ball? So clearly Peyton he's just so smart. Like, if you saw the play, it was just, nobody would have believed Peyton Manning would have did a naked bootleg to score. So clearly you could see that Peyton Manning is proving that they made a mistake. He's having fun with it too. But did Tony Romo show that the Broncos can be beaten, or was just at a moment? Because Tony Romo, who everybody hates, unless you're a Cowboys fan, I always say Tony Romo's terrible. And then he has moments where he does, 506 passing yards?
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, is he worth that contract he got? Is he showing that he can do this, or?
Tony Romo, sorry.
I think he's showing that he's showing he has what it takes to be a $100 million quarterback. But it's those moments late in the season, like everybody talks about, Tony Romo can't win in December. He can't get it done in the playoffs. Definitely shows he has what it takes, but he can't pull through with it. Like, he was staring the record books dead in the eye. He only needed 49 passing yards to beat the single-game record, and he's the first quarterback in Cowboys history to throw for more than 500 yards. And he's looking the record books dead in the eye, and then he throws the interception to seal the win for the Broncos. So it's he has what it takes, but in the end, we're just going to see the same old Tony Romo.
He can never pull through, I feel like.
Yeah.
But in other news, what do you guys think about Obama's opinion saying that the Redskins should change the name?
I think Travis nailed this one.
I think that he should just keep his mouth shut and worry about the more important things that he has to deal with in the United States.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I just don't understand. Like, why is he so worried about the Redskins changing their name when there's plenty of other teams like the Blackhawks, the Chiefs, the Cleveland Indians, and like the Atlanta Braves? Like, why does it matter if the Redskins change their name? Is it because they're DC and they're like the nation's capital? Does he feel like they need to represent more of a higher standard? Or does he just want all of the names to be changed eventually?
Well, I mean, I think if you're the president of the United States and somebody asks you if a offensive term or derogatory term is a team name, should we change it? I don't think he can say, no, don't change it. I mean, if he says, oh my God, Obama doesn't like Native Americans. You know, they can twist so many stories out of that. He could just be if he was from D.C. and he just loved the Redskins and that's the name he loves, then that's what happens. But because he's the president, he has to say they have to change it. He just has to be politically correct.
And I think in his interview, he was kind of walking a two-way street, saying that if he was the owner, he would think about changing the name. But earlier, he said that he would, he knows that the Redskins fan base is enormous, and he has a huge respect for the fan base, and he knows the fans don't want the name to change. But I think it's something that it was addressed to him. He had to come out and say it, and like you said, Amir, he can't say he's completely against it because that's going to be turned so many ways.
Yeah, and did you see what were the options, like the Washington Warriors?
Yeah, I think they've come out with some design website is having like some kind of contest, showing like artists new logos that people are coming up with and new names, and I think one of the top ones is the Washington Warriors. So, I mean, I'm completely against the Redskins changing their name. I think there's way too much tradition behind it, dating all the way back to the 30s. But if they ended up needing to change their name, which I don't think Dan Snyder is planning on doing anytime soon or ever, but if they had to, I think I'd probably get behind the Washington Warriors.
They have some all right. I hope they don't change their name. It would I think it would lose a lot of meaning.
There's too much tradition behind the Redskins to just go up and change it.
Exactly. And I feel like people have also been saying that the Redskins should change their name for a long time, but it's now becoming a huge deal. But I hope they stay the Redskins.
What the MLB playoffs? They've been going on. The division series, one division series has already wrapped up. The Dodgers, who beat the Braves. There's actually a game playing right now. It's Oakland and Detroit. Last time I checked, they were tied. So, what do you guys think of the playoffs so far?
I'm just interested because the bench is cleared versus the A's.
Yeah, yesterday.
Detroit. It was, oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. I was watching it and there's so many censors and the bleep, 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 bleep. There's it's crazy. That's why I love baseball so much, because there's moments like that. Because they never fight.
Right.
They never fight, but everybody comes out.
Tempers flare.
Tempers flare, and people kick dirt on the ump. But I mean, it was a heated game, and I think Detroit ended up winning that game too. And so now it's 2-1. So I think the A's are gonna refocus and.
Well, Oakland won the game yesterday. That happened with the argument.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Oakland's up 2-1.
Oh, okay. But still, they're good. They're gonna take it. I think they're gonna take it.
And Boston has a 2-1 lead over the Rays.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think is gonna win out of that game? Boston Rays.
Boston.
I think Boston's going to win the series.
Yeah.
But I also think Oakland's going to win their series, and I'm really hoping to see Oakland in the World Series because I really want to see a Moneyball sequel. And I feel like, if they end up winning the World Series, I think we could see Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill reunion.
That would be awfully cool. What else was I going to say? Oh, we have a viewer question. Let's see what it said. If someone, not to mention many people, are offended by something, how could you not change the name? I guess this is talking about the Redskins. Saying just because there are not many Native Americans, does that mean that they shouldn't be heard? Blackhawks and others should be. Well, I mean, I also saw how, I think the owner, I think the Redskins owner was going to go to a Native American reservation to talk to them. But I really don't know. Like, how do you guys feel?
I think they're gonna have to end up changing the name, because I understand tradition. We love tradition. That's what, everybody loves tradition. But you just have to change the name, because even though people might not be so openly complaining about it, that we see every day, because clearly when you look at the Redskins fan, people are proud to be Redskins fans. I mean, they probably have one of the best, if not the best, fan bases. But it's a respect thing, and having that name, if one of us were a Native American and we have family members who are offended, we'd probably be on the opposite side.
Right.
So I think they want to just be done with this, because I remember in middle school this was a big argument. They were thinking about changing the name. So I think they're going to have to end up changing the name, and people aren't going to like it. But if you really care about the Redskins and you really care about your team, you look past that and more focus on winning Super Bowls than a simple name change, so they can help, stop people complaining.
Well, me personally, I am Native American. I mean, I don't really do a lot of things for the Native American culture, but it doesn't truly offend me that they have that name.
Well, if they change the Redskins name, then they absolutely have to change the names of every other professional and college team that has a Native American name. So that would be University of Illinois, North Dakota State, Florida State, the Cleveland Indians, the Chicago Blackhawks, everything would have
Kansas City
But
Chiefs.
I don't have a problem with that, because that means that the Redskins were the first people to step up and say, okay, this is wrong, we're going to change it, and then everybody will lead by example, just follow by example. I mean, clearly they said, okay, this is not acceptable, we're going to be the people to step up and say we're going to change it. And I think nobody will have a problem with that. Well, people have a problem with it, but when you look at the bigger picture about it, yes, you've known the Redskins since you were a fan in 1973, but you understand. Because if it was another derogatory term that affected somebody else personally, we would clearly all hate it and be like, they need to change this. So.
But do you think if these teams change their names, they will have a larger fan base? Or do you think they'll lose fans because they change their names?
I think they might. There's definitely going to be some anger around, all over the country about the change, because there's a lot of people, but it's such a small percentage of people who are against these names. But there's so much broader population that is against a name change completely. So I think you'd risk, because ultimately it's a business standpoint. You would ultimately end up losing a large portion of your fan base if you end up changing the name. People are going to get upset, but they'll eventually come back and support their team no matter what. But ultimately, it's a business standpoint, and I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Also, I'm just throwing it out there. Redskins have been winning Super Bowls lately. Maybe you change the name. If they win a Super Bowl next year, people will be happy. So maybe you change the name up, give a new look, it might come out. I mean, the Pro Bowl is changing up the uniforms.
Oh, yeah, they are.
To spice things up a little bit.
You could say the same thing about the Wizards changing their name from the Bullets. Everybody was kind of offended by that. Maybe if they change their name, they go to the Wizards, they'll do well. They haven't won an NBA championship since then.
Good point.
Well, speaking of NBA, I know you guys heard that Michael Jordan feels that he could beat LeBron, but he can't beat Kobe. What do you guys feel about that?
What do you think, Will?
I think this is getting so blown out of proportions, though, because it was just an advertisement for the new NBA game coming out, and somebody asked him who he would want to play one-on-one, and he listed off a bunch of names, and LeBron and Kobe happened to be on there, and yeah, he said that he could beat them each one-on-one, maybe not Kobe because he's been stealing his moves, but I think it's been so blown out of proportions, but now there's so many debates popping up that I'm going to have to go with Jordan would beat every person on that list.
I don't know, because I mean, don't get me wrong. Michael Jordan is clearly the greatest basketball player all time, hands down. But to play one-on-one, I mean, one-on match game is not going to settle everything. You know, if LeBron and Michael Jordan play, both at their prime, clearly this is going to be like pay-per-view. Forget Floyd Mayweather, forget Manny Pacquiao. We're talking about, that would be a huge, oh my, so many people will watch it. And I think, to be honest, he only says Kobe because he likes Kobe. Because Kobe plays like him, so he likes Kobe. LeBron is more of like Magic Johnson, kind of, if you could, you know, Magic Johnson type of style. And he clearly Michael Jordan hated Magic Johnson. So I think Michael just doesn't like LeBron because people compare him to be him so many times. People say, oh, LeBron's this, LeBron's that. LeBron's on the cover like this on the thing. You know, they're making LeBron say, okay, LeBron's getting hyped up since he was in high school. And since Jordan had to work for it so much, he's like, LeBron is everything's been given to him. He's looking at LeBron like the rich kid, and Jordan's the guy who worked up for him. So I just think he doesn't personally like LeBron. And if you're Michael Jordan, you're not going to admit anybody can beat you. Because if you admit that, everybody's going to be like, oh my God, why would you say that? So he has to say that. But I think LeBron could beat him. I'm not saying if they play 1 out of 3, LeBron's going to get one of them. But I think Jordan would beat Kobe.
I think so too. I don't think Kobe's as good as LeBron, honestly. So I think.
Well, all 3 of the players didn't just like play their entire career by themselves. They also had like their supporting roles.
Exactly.
So I mean, it'd be interesting maybe not just to do like one-on-one, but do like each team's big 3s against each other. So do like LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh against Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and
that's not even fair.
Yeah.
They're all old.
That's not fair at all. Like, oh my gosh. But this is where Kobe wins versus LeBron. This is why I think, actually, I'm going to change it, and I'm going to say Kobe beats Jordan instead of LeBron because Kobe has proved that he can win with Shaq, Derek Fisher, Robert Horry, Rick Fox. And also, he lost those years in like 07 to 08 and then came back and won with a team that everybody didn't think really could win, with a bunch of role players or guys who were superstars but weren't that great. LeBron has shown that in Cleveland, he couldn't win, and he had to get with a bunch of superstars. Kobe didn't have to. That's just what he came into. Same thing with Jordan. Jordan does have 2 Hall of Famers on the team with Ron Harper and Steve Kerr, but clearly he shows that they've both worked to get to there, and I think that's why people hate on LeBron so much, is because he couldn't do it in Cleveland and had to switch.
Yes, yeah, I see exactly what you mean.
Yeah, because I mean, you can't compare them. I hate to compare greats because, I mean, they're the greats. Everybody knows. I mean, Magic and Bird ran their era. Jordan ran the 90s. Kobe had the 2000s. And now it's LeBron's turn.
Now it's LeBron. Yeah.
Now, Derrick Rose is back. He's back. I watched a video of him playing. He's dunking like crazy. Acrobatic layups. He had 1 turnover, but hey, we all do that. Especially if you're a Jets fan. So, basically, I just think that Derrick Rose is going to come back so strong this year, and people are going to be shocked because I think he's too healthy right now. Like he's like Wolverine right now. I think he's going to be untouchable this season. He's going to do so good. What do you guys think?
He took the whole year off last year. Do you think that he like absolutely needs to win an NBA championship this year in order for that recuperation process to
he has to at least go or be close or something, because if he doesn't, the Bulls are going to be mad.
Yeah, the past years, the Eastern Conference has just been just 1 team, 2 teams that have been good. But now, with the Bulls, with the Heat, even the Nets are this year a bust, and the Knicks aren't that bad. So there's going to be a lot of competition for the Bulls.
The East is ridiculous because the Nets, they're looking like their time to win is now.
Yeah, it's this year or never.
Or never. Clearly, KG and Paul Pierce are getting older. And then with the Bulls and the Knicks, who I love so much, Melo, best player. And then who else? The Hawks are still nice. Like, it's so many teams in the East, and then the West.
The Wizards. Try to sneak that team in there.
No, you can't sneak the Wizards.
John Wall, Otto Porter. They'll do something this year.
Eventually.
Maybe a tad bit.
Maybe they need like a kind of like hockey to switch up the division so they're not competing every year with the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
And maybe the Wizards could make a run for it.
That could definitely help. Well, I think that's a wrap for us tonight on SUTV Sports Talk. I'm Amanda Newman.
Travis Nardella.
Will Ovington.
And I'm Amir Carter.
See you next time.